The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. At that time, while some were speaking of the temple, how it was adorned with noble stones and offerings, Jesus said, "As for these things that you see, the days will come when there will not be left here one stone upon another that will not be thrown down." And they asked him, "Teacher, when will these things be? And what will be the sign when these things are about to take place?" And he said, "See that you are not led astray, for many will come in my name, saying, 'I am he,' and 'the time is at hand.' Do not go after them. And when you hear of wars and tumults, do not be terrified, for these things must first take place, but the end will not be at once." Then he said to them, "Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be great earthquakes, and in various places famines and pestilences. And there will be terrors and great signs from heaven. But before all this, they will lay their hands on you and persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues and prisons. And you will be brought before kings and governors for my name's sake. This will be your opportunity to bear witness. Settle it therefore in your minds not to meditate beforehand how to answer, for I will give you a mouth and wisdom, which none of your adversaries will be able to withstand or contradict. You will be delivered up even by parents and brothers and sisters and relatives and friends, and some of you they will put to death. You will be hated by all for my name's sake. But not a hair of your head will perish. By your endurance you will gain your lives." The Gospel of the Lord. I know somewhere at the 12 Mass, so I'm sorry, the same homily. So, in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea, somewhere between Turkey and mainland Greece, there's an island called Patmos. And this is the place where St. John, the disciple of Jesus, was exiled during a time of persecutions against Christians. And over there's a grotto in the rock, a cave that served him as a home or a place of prayer. And St. John there received the vision of the Apocalypse, which he then put in writing, and we call the Book of Revelation, about the ends of times. So I myself have not been there to this grotto or to this island. I know some people of our parish have been there in pilgrimage. And the cave now is transformed into a church. And this church, obviously, is half in a cave. And it's very strong, solid, like most caves. It gives us a sense of permanence, that it will not move from there. This is a very strong place. Inside the church, there are some paintings on an iconostasis, and these paintings, by their meanings and their beauty, add to the sense of timelessness of the place, that it will never change. The cave itself has been there for a long time. St. John used it in the year, approximately year 90, so that's a bit less than 2,000 years ago. And the rock of the cave itself have been there for millions of years. All this gives us a sense of permanence, of a very slow evolution. Though this place is the place that God chose to reveal the end of time, the big changes of the end of times, the apocalypse, what we call the apocalypse, which actually means in Greek revelation of what will happen. And the gospel today tells us also about the end of times. And we approach the end of liturgical year, and in this cycle, the church makes us meditate also on the end of times. And it will link with Christmas then, and the first coming of Jesus, and then the second coming of Jesus. So, at the end of this liturgical year, today and next Sunday, for Christ the King, we are called to reflect on what is transient, what passes away, what disappears, and what remains, what is strong, solid. In the Gospel, Jesus warns his disciples that the Temple of Jerusalem, which they admire, which the Jewish people have put, and Herod have put a great effort to build or to rebuild, with huge stones, some of them we can still see today, something very strong and beautiful. This temple, however strongly built and magnificent, will be destroyed. It will be thrown down. And it has been by the Romans in year 70. In the grotto of the Apocalypse, while much humbler than the temple, there is the sense of permanence, but we also know that that grotto and that church will also pass away. All material things will pass. This building, this church, will pass also. And this church is quite permanent in the neighborhood. I've met countless families who come here and they ask their child to be baptized, and they say, we were married here, my parents were married here, or people who come from abroad, and it's the third generation now coming to this church. So this church has something of permanence. It connects us also with God, who is permanent. But we know this building will pass, like everything in this world. In the church as well, there are hints of what is not transient, what will stay forever. And in this church, we have the real presence of Jesus in a tabernacle. And this is eternity. In Jesus, he is eternity. He's something, he's not in time, he's above time. Also, where there's beauty, it gives us a sense of what is good and true and beautiful. And we know that in heaven there is beauty and truth and goodness. And also our souls are not meant to disappear. Our souls are meant to be eternal in God. This also is permanent. So today, in the Gospel, Jesus warns of lots of tribulations, wars, earthquakes, disease, plagues, conflicts, unjust condemnations. But he says, do not worry, do not prepare even in advance. I will give you a mouth and wisdom, which none of your adversaries will be able to withstand or contradict. And then not a hair of your head will perish. By your endurance you will gain your lives. So our endurance to trust in Jesus and to confide ourselves in the Father. Today we can reflect. I invite you to reflect. Because we know our strength is in God, but we also have insecurities. What are the causes of worry in my life? What in your life worries you? I'm sure you have a list maybe small, maybe big. Well, there's lots of reasons to worry about the world, about my job, my finances, about the future of my family, about my relationships, about myself. And all these worries can be very real. But what in my life, what in your life brings peace, strength, and permanence? I am loved by God, and He cares for me. You are loved by God. He cares for you. We are in His hands. This is our strength. This is our permanence. And in the Bible is full of passages that tells us this, that in God we have our trust, we have our strength, that He will be with us, that we can count on Him, that with Him nothing is impossible. Something which is permanent also is the plan of God for me. But I always want to be cautious with the idea of plan, because otherwise I'm thinking God has a plan and I need to follow it, and there's only one. I think it's more than a plan, it's a call, a desire, an invitation for me. And this invitation, plan if you wish, goes very far. It extends in the future and it extends beyond death. The call of God for me, for each one of us, for you, is eternal, permanent. It's beyond physical death. Our peace and our hope are assured by the love God has for us. And so just to finish, a quote by Blessed Gerrick of Igny, who was a Cistercian abbot of the 12th century. There are some people impatient to find happiness in the affairs of this present life, who neglect the Lord's advice and make every effort to snatch the prizes this world offers. But blessed is the man whose whole hope rests in the Lord's name. Blessed is the man whose whole hope rests in the Lord's name. Today we want to put our trust in the Lord, and we ask for increased hope, faith, and charity. Amen.